Vlad from our team will be tabulating scores. Now we have a very special guest who's here. I think he's right outside, so can we please call his name really loud to welcome him? 2 syllables. CZ! Welcome! Welcome, CZ. CZ, just to give you some context, so this weekend we hosted a BNB hackathon here in Abu Dhabi at 42 Abu Dhabi. We had Her Excellency Fatima Al Faturi welcome us. We had over 100 developers come together, over 40 projects were built, and just announced right now all the demos that presented the top 3. So our teammate right now is tabulating the scores to see who is actually top 1, 2, 3. And in the meantime, we'd love to ask a few questions from the audience to yourself. Great. Okay, cool.
Yeah, thanks. Well, actually, I'll just say that for all the developers, there's really no winners or losers. And so the hackathon is really just a way to get everyone to code together. Short term in entrepreneurship, short term wins or losses doesn't matter. It's all long term. So long term, there can be many winners. And if you did well in this hackathon, great, fantastic, congratulations. But if you didn't win, continue to build, continue to improve. Any entrepreneur endeavor requires many pivots. There will be many failures. There will be many challenges. So the key is to continue to persevere and continue to iterate, pivot, improve. So it's a very long journey. It's not a weekend thing. It's not a 3-day thing. The 3-day thing is to get everyone together, share ideas. This is more of getting everyone together. So congratulations to the winners. It's definitely not easy. But even if you're not on this list, it doesn't mean that you lost anything. So it's a marathon. The winners determined by the market, by number of users in the long term. So yeah, with that, I'll take any questions anyone has.
Hi, Cece. It's an honor to meet you finally. I deeply appreciate and resonate with your vision that knowledge should belong to everyone. And I'm from the Japanese anime industry, and I wonder if you see a huge potential that, say, Japanese anime, say like Dragon Ball, if they go on chain, especially on BNB chain, as like in form of IP RWA, do you see like a huge potential there that we can bring culture, like more culture and knowledge on chain, and share it with everyone?
Sure, absolutely. So thanks for the question. The answer is in short is yes, for sure. Longer answer is there are many details. I think if we just bring IP on chain, the impact and adoption may not be as big as if we do some other things. I think there's many things we can improve on the traditional models. No, it's not just about making the content available on chain and you pay a little bit of BNB to read it. If you can, number one, make it, for example, I'm just throwing out random ideas that you guys, they could go viral. They most likely will fall flat. You could go micropayments, right? So instead of like buying the whole series, there's some parts of it you like. You can do micropayments. Right now, if I want to subscribe to a magazine, I've got to pay for a year, a couple $100. But sometimes I only want to read 3 articles a year for that magazine, right? I should be able to only pay for that articles I read. So there's many different new models and more interactivity using AI, better content on the blockchain than in the printed book. It's totally possible. In printed books, you can't have the animations. Well, you can have TV animations, but they're not interactive animations, right? So many of those things can iterate using new technologies plus blockchain. And then blockchain allows you to monetize directly through your viewership worldwide. So there's many different models that can be used that we just need to use our creativity to enhance what we have with the traditional experience using blockchain. So we would very much welcome Dragon Ball, anything else on BNB Chain. And there's many other blockchains too, right? So it's not exclusive to BNB Chain. We obviously, this event will promote BNB Chain, but it's an open ecosystem that we will welcome any IP to join the crypto ecosystem. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
We actually trying to bring IP, we tokenize them and put it into pieces, and then bring them on chain so that owners can maybe share a
Thanks.
No shooting, no pitching, okay?
Hey, hi, CD. I'm Andy.
Hey.
A quick question. So, how do you see BNB building on the decentralized ecosystem? How to make it more decentralized? And how do you see privacy protocol making a big difference in today's context?
Sure. Okay, there's two questions. I think the second one's easier to answer. I think privacy is a fundamental human right, right? So we need to be able to say, look, there's some things that I do which are completely legit, but I just don't want other people to know about it, like my spending habits, my phone calls with my friends, who I contact, what flavor of ice cream I like or dislike, etc. So all of those things, where do I work out? All of those things should be private. I should choose to make them private. So I think today, to be honest, I think the blockchain is a little bit too transparent in a way. It's actually very easy to trace blockchain transactions, especially like, if you can subpoena information from a large centralized exchange like Binance, and then you know KYC information associated with one address, and then everything flows after that. You can trace to a very high degree. I think privacy is a very important feature. There's a balance between privacy and also compliance, right? So or law enforcement abilities, etc. There's a balance. I don't know where that balance should be. I think as an industry that we will collectively figure that out. But from a technology perspective, we should promote and invest in privacy technologies. DKs, there's many other technologies, of course. So I'm a strong proponent for privacy features for BNB Chain and also in our ecosystem, in the greater crypto ecosystem. Also, in addition to that, on the trading part, I think people should not be able to see all your trades on a DEX in real time, right? So that creates a lot of problems. If people can see all of your trades in real time, they can potentially reverse engineer your trading strategy. And if they can reverse engineer your trading strategy, they can usually come up with an algorithm to specifically counter attack you. I think some large traders in the industry already experienced that firsthand, and we will see more of that. I think trading should be done in a private fashion. Again, there should be compliance audits capabilities after the fact. But your trading behavior should not be public in real time, in my opinion. For all the traders I've spoken to in my life, all the serious traders, large traders on Binance, traders on Wall Street, no serious trader wants somebody else to see their trading information in real time. The only time you will want to do that is actually you want to impact the market. You want to advertise, oh, I'm selling 100 million of some coin, right? And then that becomes a psychological game. So the people who really want to sell 100 million don't want the market to move away or against them. So most people who want to get into or exit large positions want to do it quietly, privately. So that's number one. Number two is in terms of decentralization. I think decentralization is a gradient scale. It's not black and white as people think. The word decentralization gives people binary thoughts, right? So people think, oh, it's either decentralized or it's not. But there's so many aspects of decentralization. How many nodes do you have? Is self-custody decentralization itself? Who's the team behind the project? How centralized is that? What level of control do they have, right? So, for example, Ethereum, if Vitalik says something, generally he will carry quite a lot of weight. I'm not capable of saying anything smart about BNB Chain technically. So, but if I did, people probably will still give me a level of respect. So there's some centralization in that aspect. Bitcoin we don't know who the founder is. So that's a decentralization in itself. But Bitcoin, if you look at all the mining power, the 2 or 3 top mining pools probably have more than 51% of the hash rate, right? So theoretically, they could collude, but I don't think they will because they will destroy their own value. So the economics are against it. But so there's many different ways, aspects of decentralization. I think as developers in this ecosystem, we should continue to develop technologies to improve decentralization. Right now, there's also a trade-off between just on the blockchain between the number of nodes versus performance. right? You want ultra high performance, less nodes, then more centralized. You want like Ethereum's going through this pain where they want everything to be idealistically decentralized, but then the performance suffers. So there's trade-offs. So it's not a black and white thing. I do think with time, technology will improve, that we can get more and more decentralized. And then, but there's also some natural network effects in the industry. So the big ones get bigger. In just any industry. So we need to balance those forces. But longer term, I do think the technology over time will allow us to become more and more decentralized in an efficient and secure and private way. Sorry, that's a very long answer, but yeah.
Hello, Zizi. So we are working on AI trading agents, and just curious about how you see the AI power may integrate or influence the trading in blockchains.
That's a great question as well. So there's quite a few aspects to it. I would say AI will be used very heavily in trading on the blockchain, tokens, stocks, everywhere, right? So and there will be quite a lot of money to be made with the very good AI algorithms on trading, and there will be multiple of them because trading is a mass psychology, right? So there's like 300 million people on Binance.com alone, and there's probably equal to that on the decentralized ecosystems here and there. With a large mass market like that, there can be so many different trading strategies that may work, and there's so many different coins, so many different projects, etc. But there's some catches. Commercial AI trading platforms for retail is going to be difficult. The thing is, if one trading strategy works really well for one person, if 1 million people use that, then that strategy may or may not work. There's some advantages to that. If it's a copy trading strategy, you buy and everybody else buys after you, then the first guy who buys will do great. The last guy who buys may not do great, right? So even the same strategy, copy strategy, the performance will be very different for different people, right? So making AI trading algorithm platforms are hard, I think, for general purpose users. The guys who make good AI, they will trade with their own money. Today, money is a commodity. Like many people have a lot of money. That's easy to raise money. If you have a algorithm that can make a lot of money, it's not easy. It's not hard to get money to trade it yourself. There's almost no the only reason you will sell a subscription model to everyone else is that if you sell for $10 a month for say 1 million users, that means you will make the $10 million you make is going to be higher than your profit than you're trading yourself, right? So that's the only way you will sell that algorithm. Otherwise, why economically you should choose the higher return for yourself. So it's a self-conflicting proposition. That's not to say that it will never work. It's also conceivable that you can build an AI trading platform that people can tweak different AI algorithms or make it easy for them to build their own structures or algorithms so that potentially each person have a different one that fits themselves. And some people make money, some people lose money. And that still has value because it's hard for people to build an AI algorithm themselves, right? So there's many different considerations there. So it's not to say that AI will always make things better because that's a very simplistic view. It's not to say AI will always make it worse, but I do think that regardless, a lot of people are going to use a lot of AI on trading. So that's for sure going to come. So it's a large field. Whoever figures out the best algorithms will make a lot of money. Yeah.
Hi, Zizi. What do you think about AI oracles making decisions on prediction markets for real world events?
I think it's a good thing. I think it's coming regardless. We cannot avoid it. Prediction markets prediction markets already are not small. They're definitely going on chain. Well, they're already on chain, and they're going to get bigger on chain. And and we need more oracles. Today, I actually looked into oracles a little bit. I'm not an expert. Chainlink is doing really well. It's a 40 billion market cap. The other oracles are quite small, and it turns out that oracles are quite expensive to operate, right? Because you have to keep posting transactions on chain, and there's transaction fees. You can get rebates from many blockchains, including BNB Chain, but still there's an ongoing cost. Especially with prediction markets with real world events, then now you have to collect more and more information. And there will be times that those information, the oracles will even be wrong or off, etc. But that's just the nature of the development of an industry. So I think oracles will play a huge part in the future, both for prediction markets and just for AI trading signals, AI trading data, etc. So all of those things will rely very heavily on oracles. I'm actually surprised that not enough people are building oracles. So I encourage people to do so.
Here. So I'm a builder myself. I've been in AI and crypto for 10 years probably. My question is not about building. I'm convinced about building. What do you think about the current state of the industry in the altcoin and people actually doing Burj Khalifas? Everyone involved, like market makers, exchanges, KOLs, all this kind of industry that is kind of not building for long term, but only for TG. And do you think it's harmful for the altcoin and for the investment logic of cryptos? Why they were built actually to finance startups?
Sure. So first of all, I think overall, I do agree that this today. Well, let's talk about the market today, right? So this bull run doesn't feel quite like a big bull run. So it feels less satisfying. Thanks. Yeah. So
Besides being
thank you. And also what we've seen is this run. There's a lot of ETFs, institutional participation in the U.S., etc. But on the retail space, there doesn't seem to be a huge flux of retail coming in from a user perspective. So that from that perspective, it feels a little bit less satisfying. There's still way more users than there were 2 years ago, but we haven't seen like a really peak formal kind of situation yet. At the same time, I think especially over the last cycle, especially a year ago under the different U.S. administration, they were pretty hostile against crypto, right? So I experienced this firsthand. And also any utility token gets sued by the SEC, by the previous SEC, right? So everybody evolved into meme coins. So meme coins also train the new users to be very short term, right? So they want 10x overnight, and 10x is not enough. They want 100x overnight, right? And they want that every night. It's not sustainable, right? So I think that short-term mentality kind of perpetrated quite a lot of the new retail users quite a bit, and that's what people talk about in groups, etc. So I don't think that's quite healthy. So I do think we have too much of that. It's okay to have a little bit of that because in any market, the speculators determine price, right? So they generate hype, they have activities, they generate more activities, etc. But for us in the industry that are builders, you can't build a project 10x every day, right? So it just doesn't happen. It takes years to build a successful product, and it takes years to grow. You can experience hyperbolic growth for a long period of time, but it takes a lot of time before that to build it. And even when you experience this kind of growth, it's usually not this ups and downs, right? You can't just go 10x every night. So longer term is much healthier for the industry to have long-term builders. So, but I think the industry itself will be self-healing. All right. So the 10x every night is not going to sustain. So people chasing that eventually will actually probably lose money over the long run. Many of them will, and then they will naturally have to gravitate toward long-term builders that are building long-term value. So the industry, the market will self-correct. I believe. I think in this cycle, what we have seen is there's in some ways it's actually good in a way. It's actually easy to determine the long-term builders versus the short-term hypes in this cycle. Whereas previous cycles, everyone claims to be a long-term builder. And in this cycle, it's easy to say, look, we're just an meme coin. It's fine. You can still invest in meme coins. Some of them still do quite well, but luckily everybody does understand that meme coins usually have a short cycle, right? So they don't blame anybody. Well, most of them don't blame anybody. So but long term, it's builders. So the industry, I believe, will self-correct. We will see long-term builders, and the industry is not going away. So whatever you guys are building today will be just keep building. Yeah.
Hey, Susie, yeah, completely agree with what you just said. I've been following your work since at least 2017 from your hobby days. So congrats on the big success. That's definitely a long-term builder. So I'm also a builder, and but I'm mostly in the Bitcoin ecosystem. I think this is my first Binance chain experience. So far, it's been very great. And you talk about Bitcoin a few times. One is so-called decentralization. You said, Satoshi is not around here, and what a lot of people in the Bitcoin space is talking about is how should Bitcoin still be upgraded, or it's already reached its final destination, nothing has to be changed. So what's your opinion on, should Bitcoin still be upgraded, maybe with something like a OpCat or maybe a quantum resistance, or should we stay this way forever because it's already perfect money?
Well, the answer for that one is very simple. Anything should always be upgraded. Nothing stays the same. Anything that stays stale will lose or will become irrelevant over time. I think Bitcoin is a great innovation. It's the largest community, biggest market cap, etc. It is limited in the number of programmability, and also it has to become quantum resistant over time, right? So it has to be upgraded. But Bitcoin is not easy to upgrade because there's no central authority, etc. So the way to upgrade is usually forks, and forks cause a lot of problems. So there's pros and cons, and causes divisions in the community, the block size war, etc. All of this stuff. But but regardless of all of that, it has to be upgraded. So as anything, especially in technology, there will be newer versions of Bitcoin, and then communities will debate, vote, try to kill each other over block sizes, which quantum resistance algorithms to use, etc. But that's part of the decentralization. So it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be somewhat painful, and it's going to have duplicated efforts, etc. But it will continue to get upgraded, and both in terms of quantum resistance, new features, programmability, etc. So, and we have seen that the Bitcoin wallet still have version upgrades over time, right? So that will continue. I actually hope that they will be faster, but it's a very decentralized community. So, and everybody has different opinions.
Okay, so Stevie, I have two fast questions. Number one, the industry totally changed this cycle, and in my kind of opinion, projects are struggling to get money, regardless from VCs or from the retailer itself, right? Tax on chain, is it something today you see it's something valuable for projects because at least they can generate some stable coin, regardless now BNB, USD, one whatsoever, to sustain the project and to pay, or you still believe, because in the last cycle we didn't really have tax as something to be listed even in a tier one exchange back in the past. This is the first question. Number two, do you see we need something in the BNB chain, for an example, like Aster, but for RWA?
Okay. When you talk about the tax, you talk about on-chain tax or real tax?
On-chain tax.
Okay. I think on-chain tax is it's a fine mechanism. Developers need money to support them, right? So you need funds to hire developers to grow the team to enhance the protocol. So there's many different type of token economics you can design. There's many mechanisms. You have tax. You can have like inflation. You can have donations. You can have a pre-mine reserve. All of them have pros and cons. But fundamentally, look, if you want to maintain a strong team, you need to incentivize the team needs to get paid. And a strong team, smart people are very expensive because they have many opportunities. right? So there's a balance between how well do you pay your developers versus how good of a developers you can get. And of course, there's as soon as you have this payment mechanism, there's how well you can manage that, right? So who decides who to pay, how much to pay, who to hire, etc. So there's then governance, and how decentralized can that be? So there's different ways, not just the mechanism. And if you're lucky, you get a good team who's running the sort of governance, and you can do governance using voting, but the proposals are still important. If you just give out shit proposals, then it doesn't matter how people vote; it's going to be bad. But if you have good proposals, then so it still depends on the talent of the people. And it's again different projects at different levels. It's a bit of there's a bit of luck involved. If you get a good team that's really level-headed, that's thoughtful, then you'll have a good project. So the tax itself is not a problem. And the second question was what? What does that mean? Ask for RWA. Yeah.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So today we have many people trying to come to RWA, right? And we have like here Ben, hello Ben, he's like handling the RWA and BNB chain. But today it's a lost industry. Like everyone claiming RWA, license-wise, platform-wise, understanding-wise. But do we see this initiative can happen with the chain where all governments want to?
Yeah. I think RWA in my limited view is it's still very early for RWAs. Also just the term RWA, it's a fancy term. It sounds really cool, but what does it mean exactly, right? I think even today it means different things for different people potentially. Some people say, look, stablecoins is RWA, which is true. It's based on real world asset. And then but then you get fancy. You want to tokenize a building. You want to tokenize stocks. And recently even yesterday I had some really good discussions about tokenizing something else. I will hold that idea for now. But they may be the thing with tokenized stocks or buildings is there are existing laws, especially security laws. Do you need KYC on the receiving address? Do you not? Like, is this really transferable on the blockchain? And then when you tokenize a stock, is there any fees? Like, what's the redemption process? Are the price always going to stay pegged to the actual stock? We've seen early days that the price depegged, which is a big problem in my view. So there's many teething problems we're still trying to solve, and also there's market demand, right? So it's great. Okay, we can tokenize this building, and everyone else in the world can buy it or can participate in the rise and fall of the building. But the price may not fluctuate that much in crypto terms, right? So crypto will 10x every night. So the buildings don't do that. So then they don't have volatility. Without volatility, there's actually no liquidity. People don't trade it. So there's all of those teething problems. So there's regulations, there's liquidity, there's technology, there's issuance. There's a whole bunch of problems. So I think RWAs were still early days. For this type of products, doing a perp DEX on top of it is highly risky. You can do it on stable coins, which is fine. But if you do it on a building, tokenized building, which has low liquidity, low price fluctuations, they will be like, it's easy to manipulate the prices. There could be forced liquidations. There could be a lot of problems. It's a chicken egg problem. The asset itself has to get liquidity, has to get popular, and have to get liquidity. But then the more liquidity has, the more easier other people get in. So it's a chicken egg problem, but people are trying to solve it. Very large institutions, like namely BlackRock, Larry wants to tokenize everything. And he has a lot of pull, right? So he manages $13 trillion. So he's in the traditional market. He knows how to figure out the compliance regulatory issues. So it's great that he's doing that. And in the crypto world, Binance is the biggest distribution channel. So I think Binance, they just announced the collaboration with Budo, their product. So it's a start. It's not that big yet, but people are working on it. So, but with all of that, I'm not saying that RWAs will guarantee to get really big. I do think stablecoins will get much bigger. I didn't understand stable coins like say even 4 years ago. I thought that's a hugely tricky business. You have to like protect your bank accounts from the U.S. government at the time, which is hugely difficult. And then somehow Tether did it for many years, and that's why they're one of the most profitable companies in the world. And then now everyone realizes stablecoin can be a big business. Now everyone wants to use stablecoins. That's not RWA itself, but I do strongly believe that every country's currency should have multiple stablecoins. And once you have those stablecoins, then they trade on chain. And then the on chain you trade 24/7. So you're no longer relying on the old FX, RFQ, OTC, block trades, which are very non-transparent, right? So now you have the pricing very transparently 24/7 on chain, and then that's going to be the price discovery for FX. So that's a huge market. So I think there's many potentials that could happen that haven't happened yet. So there's a lot of opportunities.
Hello, Billy.
Yeah.
We have 2 more questions. Go ahead. And then my
Okay. Nice to meet you. As we already talked about meme coin, so my question is about meme coin also. Everyone in the community is talking about Binance listing effect against the. Just give us a straight hint. Has the priority of meme coin gone up, gone down, or just stay exactly the same?
Okay. First of all, I don't get involved in Binance listings at all. I actually don't know what they think. So honestly, I just don't know what they think. I haven't talked to their research team for 2 years. They do what they do. But I can just talk a little bit at a high level about how exchange listings will think about it, right? So the number one priority for exchanges is get liquidity. So if a project if a token has a lot of people trading it, exchanges will list it. They will compete to list it. Right? Bitcoin, everyone will list it. Ethereum, Ethereum did not pay any exchange listing fees. I can guarantee you that. So BNB, like some of the competitor exchanges are listing it now after a number of years, right? So so that's number one. So if the project's good, if the token has demand, exchanges will list it like that, right? So and then you come to the sort of, let's go to the other extreme, the bottom tier. No one wants to touch it, right? So exchange, if they mistakenly list a coin that performs bad, what happens? The users get hurt. For the exchange, that's if the exchange loses users over listing a coin, that's not a good trade, right? So exchange long-term value is keeping a large number of users. So from this respect, the fact that Binance has the largest numbers of users by far means that they have chosen very well over time, generally speaking. Not every time, but over time. So exchange has to balance this. And then there's the middle projects. That's kind of questionable, right? Everybody have a different opinion. If you hold it, you want it to be listed. And then there's also different views about Binance listings, especially in the middle tier. What we have seen is the projects who are not on Binance, they beg to be listed on Binance because that's the largest liquidity pool. But then there's also the other view is once you get listed on Binance, that may be the end. That's the last stop, right? And so everyone dumps when it gets. That's the largest liquidity pool. If the project's not developing anymore, then listing on Binance may or may not be good for the coin, and it will be very bad for Binance, right? So again, I don't think Binance has a specific policy. Not that I know of that Binance has a specific policy for meme coins as a category. I don't think they operate that way. So. They don't have a specific policy that any meme coin we will list or we will not list. I also don't think they have a policy that says any AI coin will list or not list, right? So I don't think Binance evaluates on a category basis. Of course, if it's a meme coin, they will understand it's a meme coin that has certain risk characteristics, but they will look at each project individually. That's my understanding of how they work. I've not talked to them. I don't know if that's changed. But from what I'm observing, as like so they haven't changed that much. Yeah.
Sorry, Suzy, I have 2 questions. I want to ask, which industries are you most excited to see developing on BNB Chain right now? And my second one is, what do you see as the strongest use case adoption at the intersection of AI and blockchain? Thank you so much.
Sure. Well, I think there's many for a blockchain, right? We welcome every industry, right? We're not industry specific. We're not really that selective. As you said, AI is a big industry, and AI hasn't really merged well with blockchain. It should. It just haven't happened, like a real big way, right? So there are many attempts, but they're still small. But we just within blockchain, there's many different fields, right? We talked about stablecoin. I think that's going to be huge. I think exchanges are going to grow 10 or 100x. Stablecoin is going to grow 10 to 100x from today, right? RWAs, depending on which part of RWAs, what kind of something will take off. I think. I think we're also seeing perp DEX is doing pretty well. So they're growing. How decentralized they are, we can argue about that. But it's a sector that's pioneered by other people, and I think we welcome anybody to develop perp DEXs on BNB Chain. Prediction markets is yes, I mean Ether. Yeah. So there's also other the prediction markets. I think will be not small. They will be big. So there's many different things. From a chain perspective, I cannot predict which one's going to be really. So we're not very good predictors. So we make the platform available. We welcome everybody. We invest in strong teams, and what's going to take off depends a lot on the team itself. If you get one good team that can build a really good product, then that thing takes off, and then that sector takes off. Like Polymarket did well, so then everyone, and Kalshi did well, so now everyone wants to do prediction markets, and then so it takes strong founders to develop trends. It takes individual teams to develop trends, not like a guy like me. I can't predict. So that's kind of the industry. You had a second question.
AI related.
AI related, yeah. I think AI has not been fully integrated with blockchain. I think the first thing is AI agents. Each of us will have probably thousands to millions of agents working for us at any given time in a few years. So there will be lots of AI agents, and AI. Many of those tasks will be transaction related, money transaction related, right? So they'll be buying some tickets, paying for an article, make a donation here, collect your, submit your tax payments and stuff like that. So many of them will have transactions, and there will be like 1,000 times more transactions, or probably even more than that. Humans are not very good at visualizing 1,000x. We're pretty good at visualizing 20% each year growth, but we're not good at visualizing 100, 1,000x. And with the with a higher amount of transactions, we need much faster blockchains. And AI is gonna really only use crypto. AI is not gonna use credit cards. They're not gonna use bank accounts. They're not gonna do selfies. They just can't do it, right? So the blockchain is the most straightforward native API for AI to interact with for transactions. And both sides, the receiver end can verify very quickly, etc. So I think payments is going to be really key. AI, using data verification can be used on blockchain as well, but I think that's a fairly weak use case because it's much faster to do private databases for training and stuff like that. So I think that's a weaker use case. Also, AI is going to need a lot of money. Right now, I think the compute for OpenAI is probably like 1 to 2 gigawatts per year, and that costs them like $50, $60 billion a year. And they have grand plans to have hundreds of gigabytes, which will cost trillions a year, and a year. So they need a lot of funding to support that to grow. Again, in AI or in blockchain, we have a very natural fundraising ability. Today, to be honest, blockchain industry is probably too small to fund those type of trillions of dollars. Bitcoin is only 3-4 trillion, right? So our industry has to grow to be able to support that level of funding requirements. But I think many AI companies probably will look to blockchain to tokenize compute. That's another big sector for fundraising for AI. So I think all of those things are there's already a lot of discussions, at least I'm involved with, but I haven't seen a lot of them in real action yet. So I think at the intersection of those two things, there's really three big industries in my life, three big technologies in my life. That was the internet. I was too young to do anything with it. I was just out of college. I'm not like Zuckerberg, college startups, etc. So then there was blockchain. We got lucky. We have a platform in the space where we were able to capture some of the we were able to capture and contribute to the ecosystem. And then there's AI. So AI, again, it's not my personal specialty. We invest very heavily through Easy Labs, AI, robotics, etc. So these are the three key technologies, and each one depends on the one before that. And well, they also interact with each other. You can't run a blockchain without an internet, and you can't have AI without the internet either, really. The AI was built by the large data collected through the open internet first, and now they're collecting much more specialized data. So and AI is going to use blockchain very heavily, and blockchain is going to use AI very heavily. So but right now it hasn't happened yet because both technologies are still nascent. The large language models are great, but they don't do everything. They can't transact for you, but AI will transact for you. I can guarantee you that. Yeah. So so there's many things to develop.
One more question, okay?
We could probably take one or two more.
Hi, CZ，我是一个福布斯专访过的 AI 公司的创始人。我有一个问题，就是跟 AI 有关的。你们刚才聊到的呢，就是 AI 的用例。主观上，你相信哪一个是在 blockchain 可以 massive adoption 的 use case？这是第一个问题。然后你觉得 BNB Chain 准备好了这个大量的 AI agent 的用例吗
？Okay.
Yeah. English or Chinese alternative?
It's fine. So the first question is about which use case do I think will be big on the AI blockchain? Again, I'm not a very good predictor. So it depends on which. It depends. I think payments really overall is going to be the next killer app. But payments has always been predicted for the last 14 years in crypto. Right, so the first version of Bitcoin white paper is an electronic cash payment system. But I think payments will get there eventually. And then what was the second part of the? Oh yeah. BNB Chain absolutely will be BNB Chain will be the AI blockchain. I wouldn't say it's fully ready now. We do need developers to give us feedback on what features they need. So it's not like you can just make a blockchain AI ready and it's fully ready. It's like 100% ready. The world doesn't work like that, right? So we need developers. Over time, the developers who are developing AI solutions on BNB Chain will make requests, and they'll say, "Look, we need this feature, we need that feature." So this is why it's important to hold gatherings like this, where we actually get the developer request, and then the Chain team can say, "Look, we developed this, we will develop that." It's an ongoing process, but the intention is fully there, and the willingness is fully there, the funding is there, the intent. So all of that is there. It will take time to develop all the features that are fully AI ready. And we also have very good relationships with many leading AI models, computing resources, even power, robotics. So we have the ecosystem. We have some of the best players in the ecosystem. This is also why Easy Labs is important. They invest in a lot of AI, robotics companies, etc. So then we have great relationships with all of them. And then once they invested by Easy Labs, they know they have a very strong backer that's blockchain native. So then whenever they have blockchain requests, they come to us. So I wouldn't say that BNB Chain today will do everything that will support every AI, but the intention is there to build it.
Hi, Cindy. This is Fernando. I'm a model developer from Silicon Valley. So totally agree with your explanation about the agent layer payment here, also some attribution for the co-creation and IP co-creation. So, will you think if that's possible for model co-creation, just like fine tuning, prompt tuning, or create a workflow with no code canvas, just like NAN in the future, and all the recognition and word marking system can be done on chain, and how BNB system can support that, just like how Ethereum support 804 as a new standard. Thanks.
Sure. I don't think I'm technically qualified to answer that in a lot of detail because model construction is not my specialty. I have talked to a number of model developers. I don't fully understand how people develop these models in terms of how customizable they are and how many layers they are. So you can have a core model, and what do you build on top of it, or do you change part of training data, etc. So I don't know how that's done exactly. So I talked to a lot of people who says they can customize models this way, that way, but I have not done that myself, so I'm not an expert in that area. But this is model building, and this is, in my view, almost a pure AI part, right? You can build it on chain, you can build it using a database, or you can use however way you want to organize your data. This is model building. The model customizations is really a pure AI development, model development, in my view. How do you integrate that with a blockchain is a integration consideration. What features do you need? Like, today, when we talk about models on the blockchain, do you just want to monetize through a token? Do you want to issue? How do you want to design a token economics? That part is like a blockchain part. The two in my view, doesn't necessarily have to correlate with each other. But if you can do a model well that let people customize it and contribute development to it, then you can use a token model to incentivize developers, and then they get contributions, etc. If you can have a way that you can quantify the contribution or the variation of different models. So it's not in my limited understanding right now, it's not an easy problem to crack right now. What I would actually recommend is the people, what I see today is on the blockchain, the AI models are relatively simple customizations. They're not improving the model by a third or even 10%, right? So what you want to do is you say, look, I'll take a ChatGPT or a Grok model, and I can, with my customization, get 20% better. Then that's real customization. Well, doing something, right? Doing something specific. If you can do that, then you added a lot of value. Then today, I don't know how you would arrange the commercials. I don't know if you can charge for that just by yourself, or you have. Well, I think you'll pay for the core model API, and then you can charge for whatever you want to charge. You can build a token model on top of it. So that's a possibility. How easy or how hard it is to do, I don't have a very good gauge on that because I'm not an AI developer. The models are evolving very quickly, and what was once deemed to be impossible to copy, I know when ChatGPT was out there, Sam Altman was pretty confident no one can copy it, and then come out of left field, DeepSeek, and then there's 20 different large language models today. So I don't know how feasible that is myself. So not the best person to get into the technical details of it.
All right, one last question and we announce winners.
Oh, we haven't announced winners?
Hi, CZ.
That's why everyone haven't laughed, huh?
Thanks so much for this opportunity, CZ. I'm Ravik, and I have passion in solution development in the AI and automation field. But I have a question. You mentioned the builders and their role and contribution in this cycle. So I love innovation myself. There are many bright minds here making solutions for things that actually need solving. So in your opinion, which industries do you see builders and innovators would be most valuable in at this moment and state of the market?
I think, to be honest, I think there's really two industries right now that has a lot of potential, right? Growth potential, money potential, etc. Again, it's AI and blockchain, really. So AI has a lot of high potential in a lot of different areas, but the competition is also extremely fierce, and you need a level of scale, right? So for AI, you need compute, right? So it means that you have to have access to chips, to data centers, and they're pretty costly. And you need access to large amounts of data potentially. If you want to do core modeling, if you don't want to just focus on applications. So if you want to get into the core of AI, you need a large amount of investment, a large amount of resources. So this naturally creates a few large companies in the world. So it's not easy to just start a new AI model company. Whereas blockchain industry has a few other advantages. It's very easy to do a startup in blockchain, and it's also very easy to raise money. It's extremely easy to issue a token, but there's other considerations after that. And blockchain deals with money, right? So it's very easy to make, relatively easy to make money in the blockchain space. And in history, it has never been this easy to develop in the financial space, right? So if you want to become a traditional financial organization, if you try to be a bank on Wall Street, you can't, right? So this opportunity is like a golden opportunity for developers, for small groups of developers. And so, for example, if you ask me to develop the AI to compete with OpenAI today or Grok today, I don't have, well, today I may have some resources, but if I was 7 years ago, I wouldn't have the resources, right? So whereas blockchain offers those opportunities. So I think again, my view is obviously biased. BNB Chain is the best place to develop.
Thank you so much, CZ, and thank you to our crowd for the wonderful questions. All right, CZ, we're going to do a group photo with the winner.